To me, this Bimini top is like the #1 thing that I love about the Celina. Here's one thing I was talking about in one of my latest videos, fishing videos that I did. I'm thinking about maybe tomorrow going ahead and going out, trying to do some fishing again. Been through a long ordeal, almost 3 weeks. I'll explain on my trip what was going on. I think it's time for me to go back out there, maybe hunt a few bass tomorrow. Just kind of get out, get some fresh air, just to start to feel good again. Hey, but this is what my point is. When I unwrapped the Selvin, the 1980 Selvin, you can see it's not perfect, but man, does it look nice in here. Everything nice and neat, rods all put together. Now I did buy some new Zoom products. I had them sitting underneath the tarp here. But yeah, that's important to have everything kind of the way you want it to, so you don't have to organize each time you want to go out and go fishing. Gonna head out probably about 4 a.m. Get there a little bit before light. Put the Selvin in the water. I don't plan on doing any good in the morning. I never do too good in the morning. Knock on wood. But I'm thinking by tomorrow afternoon, maybe catch 1 or 2, maybe 3 bass in the boat. Be fine with me. Got the PVC all taken apart. I'll just go ahead and store it until I put the tarp back on it for rain. Passing through the Hoosier National Forest, first light. We are gone fishing. We just arrived here at the Hoosier National Forest Gatehouse. This is Indian Celina Lake recreational area. And what you got to remember is if you come here to fish, to hike, whatever you're going to do during the day, there's an $8 charge to get in. And that's a day use charge. But if you purchase a campsite, you don't have to pay the entrance fee, I think. I'm not for sure. Call ahead and make sure. It's a great place. It is the middle of August. And it just seems to me like it's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to get out there and try to hunt some bass today. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get on down there. Celina Lake, my Bass Academy. Going to go down here and see what the water looks like. Wow. Got a lot of good firewood right here. Anybody looking to camp the next couple weeks, man, oh man. That is some nice stuff right there. Tree finally fell. I knew it's been dead for a long time. Well, looks like I got another one right next to it. There it is. Celina Lake. My first impression is, wow, is the water low. Holy cow. We've had about 10 days now of a serious drought kind of starting to set in, but look at all the weeds. Ooh, this is going to be a challenge to fish today, no doubt. Wow. If you've fished Celina Lake before, and if you've got experience fishing weeds, you kind of know how to deal with it. I think this is about the lowest I've ever seen it. And I see the mosquitoes are out too. Big time. Good morning, Wrecking Ball House. How are you? Alright, we'll go down here. Yeah, it looks to me like people are still being able to launch here. Yeah, the water, I think it's doable. I think it's going to be okay. The main thing is where the concrete stops and it drops off, they have gravel. There's gravel built up in this area right through here, so it should be okay. There is a chance of rain coming in, so I brought my rain gear, and hey, like I always say, as fishermen, we don't care. If it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. The only thing that bothers me is the lightning. If it starts to lightning, I am out of here. At least up on the bank or do something. Pretty scared of lightning, but for good reason. Been almost vaporized way too many times to count. Alright, let's get the Selvin loaded up. Glad you came along. Midsummer fishing trip. They say this is as tough as it gets right now. Especially on summer days, hot days, rainy days, this is well worth the investment. Plus, adds a little security when you're up here on the top deck fishing. You can always grab a hold of something in case the boat rocks a little bit. It's a pretty good security to have. A little high handrail for you. Anyways, if you don't have one, even if you have a regular traditional bass boat, you might ought to think about it. Don't get burned up by that sun. Older you get, the more you'll learn that lesson. It's bad news for your skin. It's always nice having a little extra room in the Selvin. Just that easy. Let's go. Hunt some bass. Oh yeah. Okay, Selvin. I know you are extremely happy to be back on Celina Lake and to help me go out there and hunt some of these big bass. We'll have to work around the weeds, but hey, we can do it. We ain't scared of no weeds. Yeah, the only way to handle a lake like this, especially here at the ramp, we have so many weeds, is to get you a nice kayak paddle, just like this one right here. This right here is a gray owl. I know I've had it for probably, I can't begin to tell you how long I've had it. I know it's probably going on 3 decades almost. Beautiful handcrafted kayak paddle. I actually use it for my canoe when I solo my canoe. Sometimes if I get into a current on a river where I've got to go upstream, I'll put my canoe paddle down and I'll take this, and it really gives me a lot more leverage. But here, the application today, you can see, works very, very well. If I get myself in trouble, sometimes when the wind picks up and I catch a fish, I don't pay attention and I get blown into the weeds. Best thing to do is pull your trolling motor up, get your kayak paddle out, manually work your way out of the weeds, and just kind of go from there. you know, certain circumstances, I would imagine there would be a lot of people not even come fishing today because of all these weeds. But hey, to miss a day of fishing because of some weeds doesn't make much sense to me. Even with the wind coming in and the possibility of some storms, hey, no problem. I think a lot of people think fishing's really easy. Well, to go out and just sit in the boat and throw something in the water might be easy. But if you're serious about catching like big bass, it's an art. You got to work on it. You got to practice. You got to get good. Got a feeling I might as well keep this gray owl on standby. I got a pretty nice setup here. What I've done is I've hooked up two different deep cell batteries. So for instance, if one happens to wear out, all I have to do is unplug it, plug it into another one, and go on with it. I know everybody probably has their own way of fishing, their own kind of strategy, routine that they do. Most of the time with me, like if I launch here at Celina Lake, what I like to do is cruise on to the other side of the lake, to the far end of the lake, up by the dam, and then kind of work my way down from there. I think one of the main reasons is because right now, I mean, this is some pretty good fishing right through here, and I've done very well. But there's something about that I'm the first one out on the lake, and it's so quiet and peaceful. I don't want to actually start to throw a line in and have somebody pull up and start to launch your boat and talking going on and all that. 99% of the places in the United States, you're going to have that automatically. You can't get away from it. But here I can. So I just find it peaceful to go ahead and cruise on up. Now, another reason for that is today the wind is going to blow from the south. So the wind is going to pick up from the dam and blow this way. So I might as well go ahead and cruise all the way up there, and then if I have to, my batteries go low, I can just drift all the way back, fish the banks on either side. Works out pretty good. We'll take a nice little cruise on up to the other end of the lake, other end of Celina Lake. I'll go ahead and, this is where you see a lot of the photographs that I'll take. With my Nikon B700, I take a lot of photographs, ducks, wildlife, as I'm cruising to the other side of the lake. There is definitely some instability in the clouds today. Definitely something's going to happen. Last I checked, about a 70% chance of rain, but not till early evening. I got a feeling it may come in a little sooner than that. We'll see. Hey, one thing I've really enjoyed is this new camera, this Ultra 24. It is so nice. It's an Android phone, but you know what? This has got such a nice camera on it and such good lenses in it that, you know, I'm down to probably about, I don't know, 25, maybe even sometimes 50% of my films are being done on this camera right here. So I really appreciate it. It's a pretty nice piece of equipment right here. Okay, well, it looks like to me like I am ready to throw a line in. We're going to do a little fishing. We're going to go along this bank right here. We'll fish it, probably go across the dam. Don't really do much on the dam. There's so many weeds and it's so deep, but I'll probably throw a few things in there, and then we'll end up going along this bank right here all the way back and see what we can do. Well, the The sky looks like it's starting to break up a little bit. For a while there, I thought for sure we were in for some rain. But right now, it's not looking bad at all. All right, time to throw a line in. When I took Charlie Larry out fishing, it's been about 3 weeks ago now. You know, we got out on the water, and within minutes, Charlie's fishing. Man, he's concentrating. The matter of concentration that he had was just incredible. But I've been out here for probably an hour or so already. Haven't thrown a line in yet, but you know, I've got a lot of different camera gear and dash cams and all kind of things to set up. That's what I do. I'm a YouTube creator. But I can see why a lot of people wouldn't be interested in this at all. Because it's like they want to go fishing, they want to fish. They want to go dirt bike riding, they want to go dirt bike riding. They don't want to worry about cameras and setup and stopping and trying to film you coming around a corner. Then you got to get your camera and backtrack again and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of hard work being a YouTube creator. But if you put the hard work into it, you come up with some pretty good film. Go ahead and start out today with a green pumpkin creature. I'm going to make sure that I've got him hooked just barely into the side of him. I think you can increase your catches quite a bit. I learned this trick from Randy Blockett. You know, when you try to put your hook through the center, that's so much plastic for that fish to grab a hold of. It's quick enough and he lets go. It doesn't seem like the hook will grab near as much. If you got it just barely on the side like this right here, that way there, when he grabs it, it's almost sure to get him every time. Well, I say that. I miss at least 50% of the fish that I actually hook. When I say miss, I mean bring them in the boat. So one thing he had in his tackle box is this right here. This is an all-purpose scale. And this has got to be ancient. Just by looking at the box and stuff like that. You know, meats, poultry, fish, laundry, parcels, baggage, sportsman, low cost, everyday use, precision made. Right here. It's just a manual spring-loaded. So what I got to looking at it this morning, actually like at 3:30 this morning, I started thinking, okay, well, it's got this hook on it here at the bottom, but man, I just don't want to. I don't know if people used to like poke a hole in the fish's lip and put that hook through there and weigh him. I don't know if that was the process, you know, but I'd prefer not to do that. I mean, I try to handle the fish as easily as I can, put them back in the water for somebody else to catch another day. So what I came up with is I got a clothespin. I put a clothespin on it. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to maybe put that clothespin on the fish's lip and then have it pull down, and then we'll just we'll see what it weighs from there. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Digital scale would be so much easier. Digital scale with a nice wide clamp that you can clamp onto the fish's lip. You're not going to damage the fish. You get a good reading, record it, put it back in the water. Anyways, there it is. On standby, just in case. So it wouldn't be under YouTube Shorts, it'd be under my regular content. But my Minn Kota foot pedal here, with my Minn Kota trolling motor, what was happening is forever, since I've actually had the Selvin now, this is the 3rd year, this button right here was just, you had to smash it all the way down even with this plastic for it to go. And I ended up taking this button off and doing some modifications. Go ahead, if you're having trouble with that, if it's very hard for you to keep your trolling motor running when you got to put your foot on here, it should be something as easy as just touching it. It comes on and letting go. I was actually having to just smash it down. So check out that little video I've got on that. But I put a piece of wood behind it, a little dowel rod behind it, and man, it works so good. Now I just lay my foot on there when I want to go. I just give it a little tap, it turns on, a little tap, it turns off. Perfect. It's a good day when you catch a fish like on the 3rd or 4th cast. All right, let me put my pole up here and let me show you what I got in the boat already. Woo! Well, he's not a great big guy, but you know what? He's a fish in the boat right off the bat. Man, oh man. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Small fry, grow up. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I don't know, folks. To me, I seriously try to set a goal of like 1 fish, and that way there, if I catch the fish, which I just did, I didn't get skunked, and I'm gonna have a good day. Maybe that's the last fish I'll catch, I don't know. I'm glad to get him in the boat. All right, we'll see what we can do from there. Woo! I was gonna explain to you about the situation I got into about 3 weeks ago. You can probably hear it in my voice. I know my oxygen level isn't like where it should be, but I'll be explaining that. But for now, I'm going to cast some more line and see if we can't catch us another bass. You know, it's hard to tell whether or not, you know, I was just talking about right before I caught that bass, how I hook it. Come here, buddy. How I hook it like barely in the side like that right there, rather than try to hook it through the middle of it, through its back. That gives the fish a lot less to have to dig into before the hook actually catches it. Got that tip from Randy Blockett. It seemed to work pretty good. That was a pretty small bass, and I had him hooked pretty good. Although as soon as he hit the floor of the selvin, he popped off, so he wasn't hooked all that good. But hey, let me show you my rod holder that I made too. Works pretty good. It's a pretty simple design. This is actually a rod holder for a boat. I guess you could use that either on the shore, or you could mount it against your gunnel right here. It's got some places on the back. I set it up is because when I catch a fish on the selvin, I don't have a ton of room up here. And so what I thought about doing is some way to secure my fishing pole once I catch the bass, be able to stick my fishing pole down in it, and that way there I don't have to worry about it falling off. And I've watched a lot of videos, and I see that happens actually quite often to a lot of fishermen. So I just mounted that on the gunnel right there. It works pretty good. Anytime I catch a fish, I try to give it enough line so I can pull it out. Just drop it down in there, ready to go. Okay, let's try to catch some more bass. I know you're out there. All right, fishing report. Been out here probably at least a few hours. Actually, let me see what time it is. Okay, I've got 8:20 in the morning. 1 fish in the boat. Got a couple bites since then, but nothing really strong. Nothing to kind of report, actually. The sky has turned blue. Most of the cloud cover has faded away. It looks like maybe the wind might try to pick up a little bit. It's kind of blowing the selvin around a little bit. Probably it's going to get pretty warm now until whatever the rain showers, whatever's going to move in later, I think will affect this. But besides that, I think it's going to get to be pretty warm. I think the temperature is forecasted for mid to upper 80s today until whatever the rain is supposed to come in. So anyway, as usual, you know that I always put my sunscreen on. I make sure I got plenty of it on. I just don't want to get burned up. Bad news to get burned up out here, no doubt about that. Yeah, my mom gave me this hat right here. They got it down in Gulf Shores when I used to go down there quite a bit. It's got some nice ventilation in it. It's got these flaps in it that I really like. May end up wearing it quite a bit today, because I can tell within the last 30 minutes, man, the temperature has just like skyrocketed out here. And you can see behind me, there's not a lot of wind blowing right now. It kind of gives you the impression it's going to be one of those dog days of summer, nothing moving, but I know there's a chance of rain coming in. At least when I checked the forecast last night, there's a chance of rain coming in this area, and then also back home. So we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to throw a few more lines in here, and maybe as I work my way to the other side across the dam, I think I'll inform you what happened to me and my mom and dad here in the last 3 weeks. Pretty devastating. Hopefully we have all recovered and everything's going to be okay. I tell you, when it comes to illness, and if you have any experience with dealing with older folks, dealing with your parents, they're both in their mid-80s, I tell you what, you got to be careful, because man, what turns out to be nothing for a lot of people can really take them down fast, put them in the hospital, and take them out completely. I went ahead and bought a package of these creatures that I use, these Supervibe Ultra Vibes by Zoom, and I bought a package in black and red sparkle. I noticed last time I came here, Charlie Larry was doing really good with Junebug, and I wanted to get a Junebug, but they didn't have any Junebug, but the black and red speckle came pretty close. So I've been throwing my green pumpkin. That's what I caught my first fish on. Haven't done really good with it in the last hour or so. Threw the blue sapphire, got a pretty good hit on it, but then it went dead. Nothing coming from it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and try one of those new ones and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and switch out this blue sapphire, and I'm going to go ahead and try this new color I've never had before. It's black with red flakes on it. Good. Yeah, the blue sapphire, it's getting pretty wore out. I was going to pick another package up, the blue sapphire, but the problem is they didn't have any. This time of year, I think a lot of your fishing stores, they've done well throughout the summer. It's kind of getting the dog days of summer, and actually toward the end here. So, a lot of people just don't restock. They sell down and then they go into concentrating on football and other things like that, especially your big box stores. So I'm hoping they'll get some more supplies, but you can always go to Amazon or somewhere, and if you can't find it, and pick it up and have it delivered right to your house too. But there it is. There it is. That's a black creature with red sparkles. So we'll see if it'll do some good. I'm not going to throw it all that much. I've been stationary, anchored here for just a little while I put my sunscreen on and things like that. I'm sitting here anyways. I'll go ahead and throw this a few times, but I'll probably go back to the green pumpkin. To me, it's hard to beat that green pumpkin. It just seems that's where I get most of my strikes, and it seems to be a pretty good lure to have. I actually have this rigged up on fluorocarbon, 15 pound, and this is my Abu Garcia baitcaster HMG Fenric rod. Hey! Fishing report for you. Got a little, I guess that would be a little bluegill. A little bluegill on the line. Okay, fishing report. Fishing report for you. Got a little, I guess that would be a little bluegill. A little bluegill on the line. Sometimes it doesn't have a red ear on it, so it's not a red ear. So I guess that would be a little bluegill. Little bluegill on the line. All right, buddy. There we go. He's kind of a small fry. He went ahead and bit on the green pumpkin, the vibe creature. Nice little bluegill. All right, well, 2 fish in the boat. It's probably getting pretty close to lunchtime. See you later, buddy. That is one thing that I've been noticing. Along this bank right here, there are pretty big schools of fish about that size right there. That's just summertime. If those fish now have gotten big enough that the bass can't eat them anymore, I'm not sure. But there's quite a few of them along here. All right, then I'd go ahead and ditch the, I'm going to call this my kamikaze hat right here. It's nice, boy, I tell you what, it keeps the sun off the side of your face, off your ears. It's definitely nice. It does have these vents in it to kind of let it cool a little bit, but it's not as cool as my trucker hat. I mean, as far as temperature goes, and my trucker hat's pretty cool too anyways. Plain. It's all screen, and it keeps me a lot cooler. So I think I'll ditch it for lunch. It's time for lunch. Got 2 fish in the boat so far. Got some pretty good captures of some military things going on. I just got to thinking how you would really know something is going on. I'll probably end up seeing maybe a couple Chinook helicopters coming from north to south or south to north, back and forth. They transport a lot of troops, and if there's some kind of a movement going on right now, probably be able to see them. I'll definitely hear them before I'll see them for sure. All right, it's always a good day of fishing when you can capture some military aircraft just like that. I couldn't tell from here. I'm thinking probably one was a tanker. The other one that was catching up to it, I don't know. Some kind of big military jet just flew right through the sun. Or more like right below the sun. You know, when I come to Celina Lake, there's always something different going on. And this is something right here. And I think that's just a ton of those little black spiders, insects, that are just on top of the water, just going crazy in swarms. So I'm thinking that there would probably be fish somewhere in that area, but I don't see anything hitting on them like top water. But yeah, they're going crazy. So my mom and dad are both in their mid-80s. I've been helping to take care of them full time. You know, it's almost going on about 2 years now, but really had to pick it up here within the last year for sure. My sister helps out all she can. She does a great job. I'm so thankful to have her in town. I have a brother that lives about an hour and a half away, and he does a lot of help on the computer. He can do finances and he can do things like that at a distance. It's very difficult for him to come in town and actually do what me and my sister's been doing with mom and dad. Ended up going over there an early Sunday morning, and she was so bad that she couldn't even get out of bed. I mean, just weak and headache and fever and everything like that. With my dad, we went ahead and got her to the hospital, to the emergency room. And my sister ended up coming by and meeting us there. And ended up, Mom got COVID-19. That's why I talk about, you know, when I say controversial, because I know there's a lot of people that don't even believe COVID is even real or if it's even around anymore. They released her from the hospital. We just took her home, and me and Dad did the best we could for the next couple of days to try to take care of her. About 2 days later, Dad starts coughing. It's like, oh, man. So, you know, I kept my mask on the entire time, and Dad got really, really sick. High fever, chills. Mom's symptoms weren't all that bad, believe it or not. You know, she got through it the best out of all of us. When I say all of us, yes, it happened to me. You know, after being there for about I guess it was 6 days straight. You know, and several nights, spending the night and trying to take care of them. On a Friday, wow, it hit me. I've never been that sick in my entire life. It hit me so hard that the first thing that happened, had a little cough start up, just a like that. Not much Friday morning. Well, holy cow. By Friday afternoon, late afternoon, I got hit with chills that felt like vibration sonars going through my body. I mean, I've never felt anything like that. I was like, holy crap. I told Mom, I said, look, you guys do the best you can. I said, I got to get out of here. I said, I got to get back home. I'm getting something terrible here. Well, sure enough, that Friday night and all day Saturday ended up being a 24-hour splitting headache, chills, high fever, just body aches, just horrible. That went into the next 7 days. And what's funny about it is, not funny, haha, but what's ironic about it is I felt like COVID was attacking different parts of my body at different times. So eventually the chills went away and the headache went away. Well, here came a sore throat. Oh man, worst sore throat I ever had. Could not even begin to try to swallow. It hurt so bad. And that came on for about 2 days. Then all of a sudden it just disappeared. This whole time there were times when all of a sudden I could feel almost my organs, like my kidneys and my heart and stuff. Just, I don't know, being attacked would probably not be the right way to say it, but it kind of felt like it. They would just like something was biting them and something was hurting them, and that lasted about a day or two, and then it went away. And then came the body aches and the fever. You think you're over with it, and you go 2 days without fever, and all of a sudden, bam, out of nowhere. I mean, it's just like somebody comes up and smacks you in the head from behind. You can't expect it coming up that fast. And then toward the end, it dropped down into my chest, and that's why I sound the way I do right now. I definitely have a lingering cough, even though it's been, I think, 11, 12 days now. It is like fierce. And the worst night was probably the night that I was upstairs in the loft, had 2 blankets on, was burning up with a fever, almost 102 fever, and I couldn't catch my breath. I mean, it was like I couldn't breathe hardly at all to get oxygen. My wife, you know, she was helping taking care of me, and we were like within hours of going to the emergency room. And man, that just freaked me out, because I've watched COVID since it hit in 2020, and this is the first time I've ever got it. I was able to stay away from it all that time, but man, when all of a sudden the realization is that I've got to go to the hospital because I can't breathe and I may be put on a ventilator and all that, it's scary stuff. Fast forward to today, this is the first day I've actually kind of been out. That's why I decided to go ahead and take the Selvin out and be out here on the lake by myself and just kind of relax a little bit. Mom and Dad are feeling much, much better. They're not 100%, but much better. My warning to everybody out there that wants to listen, it's out there. And if you look at the national charts, it's ticking up, up, up with infections. And then, of course, you got the flu and the RSV going around and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, folks, that's why I wanted to let you know that's what's going on. So I'm in the process of healing. 2 fish in the boat so far. And but, you know, like I've said, I usually don't catch my fish till the afternoon. So I'm kind of not worried about just having 2 fish in the boat right now. I plan on staying about another 4 or 5 hours and see what happens. All right. Bon appetit. I'm going to have some lunch. It's nothing like having an illness like that hit you to make you realize how nice something like this is. Okay, it's about 12 noon, and I just got a real nice bite and had one on, maybe 30 seconds, maybe not quite that long. Ended up getting off, but that's a good sign. My track record here is that I usually catch fish in the afternoon. It seems like sometime, it's still kind of early, maybe around 2 or 3 is when I start catching them. But anyways, that's encouraging. Did not take the creature all the way off, but stripped him all the way down on the hook. All right, so there you go. Now, the bad news is this was a pretty new green pumpkin creature. I just put it on there probably less than 30 minutes ago, but something chomped his pincher off right here. So anyway, so the fish are definitely starting to get a little bit more active. I noticed cloud cover starting to move in. Let me photograph this plane going by. Hey, I'm not sure these are going to show up. Those are all, you see the little white things in the water? Those are all freshwater jellyfish. What do you think about that? I always thought you had to go to the ocean to find something like that. Until one time I went scuba diving in a place called Half Moon Bay here in Indiana. And sure enough, they were everywhere. Got me a new one to put on there. I think I'll take my knife and rough it up a little bit. Kind of brings that salt out in it a little bit. You know what? One of the big lessons I've learned this summer, don't ever not pick you up some extra plastic baits if you have some that are your favorite. You know, a package of these guys at Academy Sports is $5.95, 75 cents, somewhere in there. And you get about 20 of them. That's dirt cheap. That's dirt cheap when you're out here catching fish and you got something that that's a favorite of yours. Just make sure you have at least a full package every time you go out, or a good supply of them at all times. All right, guy, we're going to put him on there. I think I'm going to go ahead and move a little bit deeper in this cove. I may be in an area that maybe there's a lot of small ones because I'm getting a lot of bites and that one took his pincher off, but no fish in the boat. So I think I'm going to move this way. We have got fish number 3 in the boat. Fish number 3 in the boat. That's awesome. Okay. Go ahead and put my rod in the rod holder here. For a minute there, I thought he took my brand new creature I just put on there. No, he's a little boy right there. But hey, you'll be big someday. Probably Indiana's champion bass, right? All right. Thank you very much. Number 3 in the boat. Doo! Now I know when me and Charlie Larry came here, Charlie caught 5, actually 6 of them. One actually came right against the selvin and jumped off when it hit the side of the selvin. We'll count that as 6. But you know, they weren't real big. They were bigger than that one right there, but you know, maybe 14 inches, maybe pound and a half. Charlie was commenting then that he thought that a lot of fish in this lake are about the same size. I know there's big fish in here. You've seen my videos and you've seen some of them that I've actually got. So I'm going to keep on going. It's encouraging that they're starting to bite. Now it's getting to be early afternoon. Yeah, that shows me right there. That's why you always want to have plenty of your favorite lures along. It did take the creature off the hook. It was on the bottom of the selvin here. I picked it up, went to put it on, and it basically has just split open the whole top on it. So I'm not going to throw it away. I definitely don't throw them in the lake to have fish maybe get them and get lodged in their throat or something, but I'm going to still keep it. If I have to, I guess I could always cut this tail off a little bit and make it a little bit shorter, but since I've got a brand new bag of them, I'm just going to put this on standby and get me another one. It all depends how particular you want to get with your plastic baits. Randy Blockett, the professional that I follow on YouTube, Intuitive Angling, my goodness, he would never have his plastics in a Zoom bag the way I'm keeping mine. He says as soon as he buys them, he basically opens them up and he's got these little clear plastic containers that he'll lay them all out in there nice and straight. he's so particular that he said even like one of these little legs right here, if they were laid in the bag wrong and sideways, it's going to affect the way that creature goes through the water. I don't know. Seems a little bit extreme to me, but I pay attention. I pay attention to what he says, and I adopt a lot of it, and I think it's made me a much better fisherman. I think when it comes to certain things like that, I'm not going to get that particular, I don't think. But I do like this idea, that one I just had. Take your knife and scrape it up, and that way there it brings that salt to the surface, kind of roughs it up a little bit. Yeah, I can see salt all over my knife blade there. Alright, let's see if we can't catch us a big bass. So yeah, there's a little bit of a weather change starting to go on here. And that's one reason why I wanted to come today too, is the chance of showers moving in this afternoon, late this afternoon, tonight. Next week, today is Thursday, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday look beautiful. Oh my gosh, like in the low 70s at night, high 50s, north winds probably around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Just looks like absolutely beautiful days. But my question is, and if I get a chance, I'll probably still come next week. But my question is, it seems like I'm hearing that cold fronts, which that's a little bitty cold front that's coming through. Cold fronts really stun the fish, and it kind of gets them out of their feeding frenzy, where you get like a front like this moving in, with the warmer wind starting to blow and the rain coming in, that sometimes it triggers a feeding frenzy. So we're going to check his whole theory out. Plus, you got the theory of mine that they bite in the afternoon. All right, there we go. Another fish in the boat. All right, a small one. There we go. Another fish in the boat. All right, a small one, but I tell you what, they're attacking that creature hard. So my question to you is, take a look at that guy. Is that a bluegill? Is that a smallmouth bass? Or is that a crappie? Let me know in the comments, what kind of fish is this? Alright, bud, I'll put you back in. He's a little bit bigger than that last one. Okay, 4 fish in the boat. Let's keep the rock and roll going. Goodbye. That's actually a first for me here on Celina Lake. I mean, I've been fishing this creature for a long time, and I usually just catch bass. Be catching those guys right there, but that may be a smallmouth, what they call a spotted bass. I don't know. You'd think that I would know more about fish species than I do, but we only all know so much. So if you can help me out there, what kind of fish is that I just caught? And I appreciate it. And then we'll both know. All right, well, got 5 fish in the boat. They ain't getting no bigger. Look at that little guy. There must be a whole bunch of those guys down there, a whole school of them. So I think I'm going to move on. That's enough of catching those guys. All right, man, they're aggressive. They just, pow, they just hit it hard. All right, buddy, we'll see you later. Like Charlie Larry was saying, the bass seem to be about the same size today. So this makes number 3 on the bass and number 3 on the crappie / smallmouth bass, whatever those were. Somebody's going to let me know, please. All right, that makes 6 fish in the boat. Let's keep on going. Let's try to get a little bit larger of a fish if we can. See you later, buddy. Thank you. Boy, the wind has really picked up in the last hour. Probably getting close to maybe 10, probably gust about 15 mile an hour out here. 6 fish total in the boat. It is 2 o'clock. So I'm going to give it another 2 hours. This is the golden time when fish start to bite. I can tell this bout with COVID has zapped a lot of my energy. I'm going to try to make it at least an hour or 2 more. But normally this time I'm bringing in the second shift and going another 5 hours or so out around the lake. But I don't think I'm going to do it this time. I think I'm going to just keep it cool. You know, we got 6 fish in the boat right now. I wish they were larger fish. Human instinct, you know. I wish the bass were bigger. And I wish the whatever those smallmouth bass or crappie were bigger. But we'll see. I'm still going to give it a shot for another hour or 2. We'll see what happens. This is how the parking lot remained most of the day. Saw the 4 kayakers out there, and that's about it. Well, I would say that was a pretty good day fishing. Caught 6 in the boat, missed at least that many more, hooked. There at the very end, actually had one hooked, a little bass. Wasn't very big, got him right up to the boat, jumped off. Or it looked like he pretty well just spit it out. I set myself a goal to catch 1 fish. If I catch 1 fish, I met my goal. If I get skunked, I missed it by 1. Well, you take a day like today, I end up catching 6. But I don't feel real good about it because they were all smallies. Looked like maybe 3 smallmouth bass and 3 largemouth bass, but all of them very small in size. I appreciate you coming along. I got to go get the Selvin. I'll pull it back up here, get it all ready to go. No camping tonight. I'm going to go ahead and head back to the cabin. So it takes about an hour to get it all ready to go before I get it out on the interstate. Take it on home west. Hey, appreciate you coming along. That's LAF Space Film Fest. Capital LAF Space Film Fest. Hey, if you would, hammer down that subscribe button. I appreciate it a lot. Hey, even though I don't catch big fish, I did catch fish, at least today. There are days when I do get skunked, and there are days when I catch some pretty good sized bass. I'm glad you came by. I appreciate you checking out the channel. I appreciate you watching the video. Hey, if you got any comments, throw them in there. I'm always glad to answer them if I can. Time to load up, head back to the cabin. Maybe be here next week. Might even do some camping again. Kind of strange because it's like, you know, I'm standing here and now within 10 minutes, you know, it takes about 10 minutes to get to the interstate. You know, I'm going 60, 65 miles an hour. So anything in the Selvin, you always have to make sure it's all tied down. Nothing's going to fly out. You know, not only do you want to lose some of your equipment, but you don't want something to fly out and hit a windshield and cause a wreck or something like that. Woo, mosquitoes are kind of bad. I usually walk around it probably, 3 or 4 different times to make sure everything is good to go. Which, as far as I can tell, it is. Canopy strapped down, motors strapped down, seats tied down, trolling motor tied down, lights hooked up, all ready to go. All right. Selvin, maybe we'll try to come here next week. Hang in there this weekend, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll get into some little bit larger fish, but we'll see. Hey, 6 in the boats, not a bad day at all. Time to hit the road. Celina, I will see you probably next week. Hang in there. My Bass Academy. Hope you're having a good day. I'll be talking to you on the next video.